Hey guys, what's up? I haven't done a video in quite some time, but I definitely wanted to make sure that this video hits home. So here's the thing. Everybody's hurting these days. There's a lot of people going through turmoil. A lot of people's lives are being flipped upside down, both professionally, personally, of course, financially, spiritually, emotionally. I mean, you name all the leads, they're hurting. So I'm obviously not impervious to that, and I'm sure you're not as well. But here's the difference. I think that people who have a keen awareness of what it is that they bring to the table when it comes to life, like their purpose in life, what it is that they're here for, and then of course knowing that their life is divinely orchestrated, or at least there's some sort of providence that's holding everything together. It just gets a little bit easier, I guess, for people like that because they understand that the hiccups along the road are just hiccups that are necessary. So the way I like to look at it, and everybody has made this analogy a trillion times. I mean, it's biblical, and great philosophers of our day have made the same analogy, and that's to growth of a tree, a seed, fruit. They're great analogies because as strong as that fruit is, I'm sorry, as strong as that tree is, that will know you'll know if you're bearing good fruit. One of the things that I think it's necessary, even if you're on the trajectory towards whatever success is to you, or whatever that point B in your life is. So even though you might be on the trajectory towards there, it doesn't mean that there's going to be obstacles. Now, the way people look at obstacles, again, are different from, they vary from person to person. But people who primarily understand that they have a purpose in life, and that there is a creator greater than them who's created them with this purpose, they can look at these, we'll call obstacles, as learning experiences. You know, as an example, when my kids were younger and they were learning how to walk, right? You kind of let them go, and they're walking like this, and then whoa, and you see they're ready to face plant, and you come in immediately and you pick them up. And when you do that, you kind of startle them, and then they start crying, they're angry. Why did you pick me up? I could have fallen, and so on and so forth. But that abrupt motion, that abrupt pickup, was meant for them not to hurt themselves. It was meant for them not to fall and hurt themselves, I should say. Because the reality is that as they grow, anyone who has kids understands that they have to fall. You have to scrape your knee, you have to hurt your wrist, you have to bump your head. These are things that have to happen in order to mold that individual, that kid, to be the person that they're ultimately going to be as an adult. They can't walk around with bubble wrap around their body every day. I mean, that would be a false hope of what life is. So if you're having trouble, and you're having problems, if you're having issues, if life isn't really going the way you wanted to strong arm it to, obviously this is normal. Again, the primary thing here is that you look at it from a perspective that you understand that this is the growth process for your purpose. Now, another thing, to use what's analogous in the whole, tree and seed and all that stuff, is the pruning. Now, in that process of pruning seems like it hurts. I mean, even the word pruning sounds bad. And as fortunate or unfortunate as it is, this is necessary. The pruning process is necessary. Sometimes it's physical. Primarily, a lot of times it's in your mind, and it's anxiety. It comes in the form of anxiety. It comes in the form of stress or distress. But it's necessary because that is your higher self telling you, hey, listen, you gotta be alert, you gotta be aware. There's something going on here, and you have to open your eyes to it, because sometimes the things or the people that are very in front of you, right in front of you, are the people that we're looking past, because we say the problems out there, the issues out there. And sometimes, you're pushing the very people who are right in front of you, who are the problem. You're pushing them aside because you don't think it's them, and you're looking for something else. And the pruning process when you're growing kind of helps you kind of take several steps back, and that's the whole purpose of beating you down, so you're so far back that you can look from a different vantage point and then really see those people that are right in front of you. And of course your intuition will always tell you that. There's a story, and I've used this many times before, in previous videos, in scripture, about Job. You should definitely read that book. But Job was a wealthy man. He was blessed. He had tons of kids. He had tons of land. And, he was the commodity of the day. He had tons of cattle. He was rich. He was a philanthropist. He was a man of God. And he was somebody who was always giving back. And there was a secret sauce in there. And I mentioned this several times about how he feared what could happen. And that fear ultimately manifested itself, but in a way that helped him understand who was really there for him and who really wasn't there. I mean, there was even a point when his so-called friends, was saying, "Hey, man, this is all on you. You had to have done something wrong. I mean, why would all of this befall you?" There was even a time when his wife, because when two become one, that's one person, and that's the person that's supposed to be there for you. His wife said, "Why don't you just curse God and die? Like, let's end this misery already." But along the way, the people that he used to give to, the people who he used to edify, the people, you'll read it later on in the chapters. You'll see that they were looking at him in a different perspective. While he was giving out of his heart, or giving out of his cup, his full cup, or giving out of his heart, what it is that he had, they were looking at it like, "Oh, look at this Job. He has everything. Look at him with his kids. Look at him with all his food. Look at him with all his cattle. Look at him with all his blessings." And while every time he passed them and he gave them, they never said that. It was only when calamity befell him that they really showed their true colors. And I think that's a pivotal and important part of this scripture, is that we could get tied down so much on the physical sense, and we miss what our spiritual sense is saying to us. And the physical sense, nah, not my boys, nah, not my guys, nah, not my family, no, not my students, no, not my friends. You think that, but the harsh reality is that yes, they're people too, and they might just be on a different plane. And while you're looking for your spiritual growth so that you can continue to work towards what it is that you were created for, it's gonna rock boats. There are gonna be people around you that are aggravated, who just don't like that, and they'll smile in your face, but of course they talk about it. And especially if you run into calamity, I mean, of course everybody loves that. But here's the thing: even if you do fall, because no one's impervious to calamity, but even if you do, if you know what your calling is, then you know that there's something here that needs to be exposed. There's something here that needs to be seen. And because I know what my purpose is, I can go back now and I can look at this in a more extrapolated view, and I can say, "Oh, okay, I understand what's happening here." So the truth of the matter is, people say that blood is thicker than water, and your friends and so on and all this stuff. And the truth is that if no one is on the same mindset or ideology or trajectory, or spiritual path, or purpose as you are, it's not that they're being bad. They're protecting themselves. And so it's easier for them to grumble and talk about you. And it's easier for them to just to leave you, or leave the plan, or to just move in other directions and smile in your face while putting a sword in behind your back. But you don't get mad at them. You forgive them for that, because that's their capacity. That's their low vibration. That's the way they think down here. So you can't get mad at that. You just have to forgive them. But what you do have to do is separate from them. Now, the separation process is hard because, no one likes to be exposed. No one likes to be looked at as, "Oh man, you found me out." But the truth of the matter is, it's something that's going to be part of your growth, and it just has to happen. All right. So listen, guys, at the end of the day, if if you're in a business, or this has to do with your personal life, whether it's in a marriage, whether it's with your siblings, whether it's with your friends, or whatever it is that you have, just know that you can't take things too personal, and it's very hard, so don't get me wrong, but just understand that that's the part. It's like a pimple. It's like an ugly pimple. When you have pimples all over your face, that's your body expelling toxins. So while it looks ugly, it's really your body working. It's your body saying, hey, I got ugly toxins in here and I need to remove it. And so it rises to to the surface, which is your skin, and it looks ugly, but it's something that your body's helping you to expel. So while nobody likes to have a pimple face, everybody sure likes to know when there's toxicity around them that they need to get rid of. And unfortunately, the ugly pimple face is something that is your warning. And so heed the warnings, look around, and you'll quickly see you have to make an assessment of the people that are around you right now, currently in your life, and make an assessment. And sometimes you don't have to wait for God to prune them from you. You can prune them yourself. And this is something that I definitely implore people to do. Your life will be a little bit more simple, and it'll be a little bit more freeing. But more importantly, you'll be back on the road to where it is that you ultimately were created to do for your purpose, without all of the nonsense behind you. All right. So, like I always say, if you have any questions, any comments, any concerns, you want to just hate on me, you want to say, hey, nice heart, give me a nice heart emoji, whatever it is, you could just message there, or you could DM me like everybody else does, to give me their personal thoughts about my videos. All right, guys. So, looking forward to hearing from you. Peace.